What show is overrated, but is treated like a masterpiece? This is Us. It's trauma-intense emotional sensations to get your weekly cry in, which is healthy sure, but not the masterpiece everyone's mom makes it out to be. I remember my mom loved it for a few episodes, then literally said I stopped watching it because I realized it was just sadness 30th. It literally only focuses on extreme happiness or extreme sadness and has no middle ground. Definitely a lot that can mentioned here, but for me, The Walking Dead is something that always baffled me how it went beyond roughly 2 seasons. They had the same loop of storyline repeated in every season they run. They find shelter, they go out for food, someone gets bitten, they get overrun, they have to find somewhere new. Rinse and repeat for like 10 seasons. The first season followed the themes of the comic very closely, and that was great. It demonstrated how fragile civilization was and how quickly people would descend into a state of complete barbarity. The zombies were just setting for their human drama, but then they cheaped out and fired an excellent showrunner. But now it seems like the real challenge is for the writers to come up with some new kind of settlement organized with some new kind of deeply horrific rules, and there are really only a few that are plausible. All the bad guys, pretty much, are from the comics still, just the stories are very different. My favorite part of the show is how new cars models kept showing up years after the fall, like Japan was fine and was delivering brand new cars to the side of the road in Georgia for them to find, all with a full tank of gas and a brand new charged battery. Lol. Gotta love product placement. Grey's Anatomy, that show just needs to end. Wait, it's still going? You know they are grasping for plot points when they add a second surprise half-sister. No one in this thread understands a masterpiece vs a show people like. So you're telling me 13 Reasons Why isn't considered a masterpiece? What a surprise. People don't think Big Bang Theory is a masterpiece. Bust out the downvotes folks. The Super Bowl. No continuity. They keep changing the main characters every goddamn year. The central romantic arc between Tom Brady and everyone on Earth got stale real quick. Weirdest laugh track of any show on this list, guaranteed. The lack of female representation is beyond cringe. Besides Tom Brady, there isn't a single female character for almost 30 seasons. But the final straw for me was the way they killed off Kaepernick. Finally get a character with real substance and kill him off. B/C cancel culture has no freaking boundaries. Agree. Additionally, the song break in the middle of the show never works for me. Other shows with a song break in each episode, such as Phineas and Ferb, will seamlessly transition into it and incorporate it into the story. But in the Super Bowl, the entire episode grinds to a halt for like 20 minutes. Then the music happens, which will have nothing to do with the rest of the episode. Then there's another long transition period before the action starts up again. Also, I get that some people like yearly episode release schedule, but it makes it really hard to binge. You're just naming every show that blew up. One of the top comments is Big Bang Theory. I was not prepared for such bravery. I bet if I sorted by controversial, I'd see Breaking Bad with 500 downvotes. The only way you'll see any shows that are actually considered masterpieces is if you sort by controversial and look at the ones with 500 downvotes. The answers in these threads always just amount to the popular show, which makes me cooler because I don't like it. Firefly. I haven't heard a single good thing about any season after the first. Way to rub salt in a wound I thought had healed. You are a leaf on the wind. This is coming as someone who loves anime and whose favorite show is Naruto. But it's Naruto. That show is great and 45% filler episodes. Do I need to say more? Holy crap, this comment gained traction. Are there any long-running anime shows that aren't half filler? It just kind of goes with the territory. I mean, try convincing someone to try out Dragon Ball when the original show takes more than 100 episodes to even hit its stride, and DBZ is so long and padded that they released an abridged version, which is still too long and padded. How many Dragon Ball Z characters does it take to screw in a light bulb? Just one, but it takes 5 episodes. None of these shows mentioned at the top are considered masterpieces. You know, the classic television masterpiece How I Met Your Mother, much like storied Academy Award winner The Big Bang Theory. You know what's not on this list? Futurama, because it's freaking perfect. I almost got my knickers in a twist midway in your comment. Seriously, the show is perfect from start to finish. It's the only show I've rewatched, and I've rewatched it like 4 times. It's sad that it ended, but also very glad it has an end. Unlike The Simpsons or Family Guy, which just keep spiraling down in quality, because the show's end is long overdue. And the ending goes seamlessly right back into the first episode. It's made to loop into rewatching. The Big Bang Theory. I cannot stress this enough. BBT is thought of as a sitcom for nerds, but it isn't. It's a sitcom for people who think nerds saying something nerdy is a funny joke. The show doesn't invite the audience to laugh with the characters as they make clever jokes that nerds will relate to. It invites the audience to laugh at the characters for making nerdy pop culture references. There's nothing nerdy or clever about the show's jokes. The mere fact that the characters are nerds at all is the joke. A friend of mine put it well. The Big Bang Theory is a smart show for dumb people and Community is a dumb show for smart people. Not listed. The Wire. Why? Because it's awesome. The Wire and Sopranos. The best TV shows emo. Gilmore Girls. Rory is a horrible person. Loving Gilmore Girls and hating Rory are not mutually exclusive. Gilmore Girls, a great show focusing on the lives of a single mother and her daughter. While their relationship may be strained sometimes, they truly love each other. Rory, the living embodiment of white middle class, old money privilege who constantly makes poor life decisions and expects people to comfort her after said decisions. If no one else will say it, I will. Squid Game is way overhyped. I've seen people say it's the best Netflix show, or even the best Korean show. If people give other Asian media a chance, they'll find way better than automatically assuming that the first Asian show they see on Netflix is the best thing ever. It is overhyped, but I will say that it is the first show I've binged in a day in years. But that's it. I watched it, enjoyed it, and moved on with my life. Same here. I loved the show, but all the hype it's getting feels kinda ridiculous. I'm waiting for someone to mention The Wire, so we can fight. I have my sleeves rolled up. You come at The Wire, you best not miss. RIP. Stranger Things. Season 1 was great, but seasons 2 and 3 feel like they unnecessarily drag the story on. I thought each season would be like a monster of the week type thing. A new horror. A new phenomenon. Nope. Same thing every season. Oh, come on. There's no debate here. I mean, does anyone beat Money Heist? This show drives me crazy. They want to set up an elaborate long-term heist that requires everyone to work together and be professional. So they use a bunch of horny idiots with no impulse control. Friends. I just rewatched it for the first time since it originally aired, and I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. It's pretty damn funny, and every episode just left me feeling happy. Maybe not a masterpiece, but damn it is fun. On the flip side, after Friends I tried rewatching Seinfeld and couldn't get into it. It's funny, but the characters are just so nasty it turned me off. Ross is still a complete douche, though. Ross is the god emperor of nice guys. Community. Well, you're definitely not streets ahead. 13 Reasons Why. Is this show treated like a masterpiece? I feel like people talk so much crap about this show. Deservedly so, of course, after the first season, in my opinion. When it first aired, there was a lot of really high praise for the show. My wife sat down to watch it, and I caught a good chunk of it. I thought it had some seriously fricked up scenes in it, like showing the girl cutting her wrists in the tub, or the school bullies shoving a broom handle up the nerdy kid's ass and him having horrible and bleeding from it. I don't think that really was needed. Plus, they tried to stretch a 2-episode story into several seasons. Game of Thrones hands down. It left good threads hanging, but never really stitched them into anything. The first half of Game of Thrones' run was legitimately good, not flawless, but it had its very high moments. And then they started to run out of source material / good ideas / effort to make a good show. The show started getting real bad around season 4, when they decided they were gonna deviate from the source material a lot for the sake of filler and showing popular characters more. They adapted the first 3 books alright, but there was literally 2 more they decided to ignore or screw up. Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. In reality, neither of them are funny. I pity you. How I Met Your Mother. Every episode glorifies Ted's toxic behavior and makes it look romantic. I get so triggered watching that show. The first few seasons it was a pretty good sitcom. Then you start realizing Ted's just running down his sexual history to his children. NPH was gold in the beginning, but turned into a psychopath in the second. One step from put the lotion on the skin Robin. I never made it to the last season. It's a pretty good example of a far too common problem where creators have a pretty good idea for a show and where to take in the first few seasons, but then the success of the show makes them continue after their creativity runs out. I wish there were more people who'd say I have an idea for or 3-season show, so I'll make a 3-season show and end it there, and then a networks or streaming services who are willing to support this. Milking shows for every last drop is how good shows get reduced to mediocrity. Suits. Most of the episodes consists of these high and mighty lawyers consistently running into dead ends, not knowing what to do, but they will be having a side conversation and the person they are talking to makes one remark about something and that's it. They have found their answers. On to the next episode to do the same exact thing. It's cheap writing and office drama. He said she said stuff. It was never a masterpiece, just light, entertaining fluff to pass the time for about 30 minutes. Goes by quick. Suits isn't trying to be anything more than what it is. Too bad it's an hour show. Rick and Morty. It gets way too much credit for a show filled with nonsense and fart jokes. You just don't have a high enough IQ to enjoy it. Everyone's saying Squid Game just because it's the latest show a lot of people are talking about. It was great, and far more a social commentary than British Rail or other similar shows. Most of these people are probably kids who watched it dubbed or just dislike it because it's popular. No, it was good. Very good in fact, and has more depth and nuance than these cretins realize. If you think it was just about people killing each other for money then frick me. What's the point in trying to explain it to you? Go read a book, go outside, just get away from social media so you can actually think for a second and make up your own mind. That is if you still have it. It's lowest common denominator dystopian sci-fi. I'm only bringing this up because of your funny angle, but if you've ever read any sci-fi you'll realize how low quality and unimaginative the ideas are. It's a poor TV show in the ways it's a TV show, acting, character development, etc., but also in its ideas. Lucifer. I absolutely adored this show in the early seasons, but the quality dropped when it was saved by Netflix and S5 and S6 were just god awful. In the beginning the relationship between Lucifer and the detective was great because she was able to resist his charm and you had the mystery of why she made him vulnerable. Then she lost all personality whatsoever and the cases became completely secondary to the otherworldly aspects. At its heart, this was a procedural crime show. Of course it was still silly in a lot of ways, but it had good heart and was funny and charming. This all drained away, and to say the final couple of seasons were a chore would be an understatement. At no point in history has anybody ever considered Lucifer a masterpiece. Controversial opinion probably, Dexter. Outstanding first season, then meh all the way to the end. That's a very common opinion of Dexter. Some folks like it through the Trinity Killer, but most agree it starts strong and just doesn't have the quality to keep it going. Breaking Bad. The West Wing crap writing, frequently misogynistic, racist, homophobic and anti-progressive, and the milquetoast political takes have influenced an entire generation of liberal politicians to be a bunch of wieners that never accomplish anything. Admittedly the cast is great, except for Bradley Whitford, but everything else about that show is disgusting, and to see it heralded as a political masterpiece makes me want to barf. I'm not saying it's a perfect show, but you sound like a PC on crack type of person who is mad off that actual liberal politics are being represented, because you're a young Bernie fan, and not used to it. The part where you said Bradley Whitford was bad is when I knew your opinion was not objective. It's a great show. Do you really think The West Wing is real politics? Every episode is someone delivering an epic monologue that successfully convinces everyone in the room to change their minds about something. That's literally how every problem is solved, by a smart person showing everyone how smart they are in the form of flashy weird dialogue. How has Noon said Sons of Anarchy? It's ridiculous. We are supposed to believe that their club is the most important thing to them all, and they would do anything for their brothers. But they just kill each other. It almost never shows why someone would want to be in that life. We are supposed to root for the main character because everyone loves him, but all I could think was get those children away from this. It's a soap opera for men. The Office and Parks and Rec. From that era, 30 Rock is the masterpiece. Really though, 30 Rock is probably the best show since I Love Lucy. Too bad it was so topical. Rewatching it shows its age. I've been binge watching 30 Rock lately and it's mediocre. I rarely laugh and find myself browsing Reddit while half listening to it at this point. So you're saying a highly acclaimed sitcom is mediocre while half paying attention to a show that is famous for its quick dialogue and subtle references? Yeah, Mozart is overrated. I play it on phone speakers while I mow my lawn. BoJack Horseman. People act like it's some kind of masterful psychological deep dive. But it's just another cheap adult comedy animated show. The answer is somewhere in between. No, it is not that deep, but it's not just another cheap adult comedy animated show. It's more of a dramedy thing for one. On the contrary, I would certainly disagree that it's not deep. It explores many themes that similar adult cartoons undermine and make shallow. I recommend watching Free Churro and The View from Halfway Down if you haven't already. They very accurately depict conflicted grief and depression respectively. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I know it's not a masterpiece, but still I honestly don't understand why y'all think this crap's hilarious. It's freaking terrible, but I'm pretty sure nobody considers it a masterpiece. The Mandalorian. Actors are bad. It's always the same thing every single episode. Mando arrives at a planet, needs something from the inhabitants. They agree to give it to him in exchange of a mission. He agrees. It doesn't go smoothly and eventually gets what he needed, while Baby Yoda does something unexpected, whether it be disappearing or using the Force, to prevent Mando from being killed. So you understand how the show works. It's meant to be episodic like an old western, like Gunsmoke. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Every character is deplorable and it just isn't funny. Damn. The mob really came after you. I too agree that this show is terrible. My favorite is how many are basically telling me that I don't get it. I do get the idea, premise, and its larger comment on our society. It's just not funny. Euphoria. It has impressive cinematography and is well acted, but the plot is all over the place and the characters are shallower than a shower. The only characters that have any depth and don't come off too stereotypical is Rue and Jules. It's a poor man's UK skins and a rich man's US skins. That show literally had every single teens in high school stereotype ever. The Walking Dead. High concept dramas have to drive towards a resolution / denouement and have some kind of central intrigue or they just wither and die. TWD started out excellent because it dangled the prospect of a resolution in front of us, but then the money started to roll in and they made it clear they will spin the wheels for as long as they can. If you remove the central intrigue, then the only plot devices left to you are people either fricking or dying. It gets old. Is there any serious high concept drama that's delivered more than 5 good seasons? I'd contend that it's pretty much impossible. The only shows that can sustain 10, 12 seasons without the ideas drying up are sitcoms and soap operas, which is probably why they turned it into a soap opera. Cowboy Bebop. I don't have a taste for jazz, and the plot being there some episodes on non-existent for others is not my thing. Watch the whole thing, but I can't see why people think it's an 11/10. Hey, everything's gonna be fine. Some prefer to eat steak with ketchup, like you, or prefer a Mustang over a Ferrari, like you, but hey, everything's cool. I mean, so what if you take payment in Venezuelan currency for your work, or if you prefer to let ice cream melt completely before eating it? Everything is fine. Man, you people like to pretend to be superior based on taste, lol. Breaking Bad. It's not that it's a bad show, it's just that it's so freaking slow. Like the whole plot could have been compressed to 3 seasons and nothing was lost. Breaking Bad, The Office, Shameless, The Big Bang Theory. I find it really weird that UK Shameless was really freaking good. Not masterpiece but way better than the US version. But the US version of The Office is more widely remembered and loved. Don't get me wrong, UK The Office is freaking boring and really cringy. Went through every single reply, and I'm surprised no one said Lost. So I'll say it. Lost was a masterpiece in repeatedly teasing and never delivering. I feel like most people in this thread were born after 2000. Money Heist. This show is so annoying. I mean, if you're doing something dangerous of this scale, your priority should be sticking to the plan and getting out safely without being caught. Personal romantic side quests could wait. Friends. It's interesting how many people can hate a show, and so many others love it. Friends is one of my go-to background watch shows. Maybe because I watched it when it aired, that it's nostalgic for me now. Watching it just makes me feel good. But to each their own. Here comes the downvote magnet. Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. 1/2. Goatee agreed. It was about tits and violence, and nowhere near the genius of the books. Breaking Bad is hands down one of the best shows out there. Slow television doesn't mean bad television. It means you need some patience. Supernatural. It's so repetitive. They should have ended it when they originally planned to, but money. I stick by that season 5's finale was the end of the show with Dean living happily with his new family and Sam's future is left ambiguous. You don't call that episode swan song and keep going. I never could get into The Office or Arrested Development. The reliance on awkward, uncomfortable humor just makes my skin crawl anytime I try. There is some kind of mental thing. It's called like heightened empathic reaction syndrome or whatever, where awkward, uncomfortable comedy or watching someone make a fool of themselves makes you want to gnaw your arm off to escape. Your brain just can't filter it out, so the discomfort goes straight into the animal brain. Finally learned why my dad and I are so wigged by that kind of thing. Also, the characters in those two shows are all kind of awful humans. Especially The Office. For me, the smugness, bullying and general cynicism was just too much. No thank you. How am I supposed to enjoy a show about a bunch of turds doing stupid things? Now Brooklyn 99, that I can get behind. Although I could say a lot about Fox's choices for the show. The choices of the main actor guy, and how I wish it had been on NBC to start. Could have been a real contender. Top Gear. I never liked any of those three guys, and I find none of them any fun in the show. To me it's just a boring show about cars/engines. That doesn't mean the show is overrated, that just means you aren't interested in cars and things like that. This is just your opinion, nothing to do with overrated or not. I'll be the one to say it, Firefly. Firefly had the potential to be a good show, but it was killed too early to say. It had a couple really great episodes, and the rest are just okay. Fans of it see the show that they hope it would have become, not the show that was actually produced. Riverdale. Netflix originals are either good or they're Riverdale. I don't think this would ever be considered a masterpiece by anyone, ever. Everyone who watches Riverdale knows it's garbage, but it's entertaining garbage. Game of Thrones. God knows I have tried to watch. We actually had to watch for a while as a family member appeared in several episodes, but frick me, it's C-Ape. Visually impressive and well written, but still, C-Ape. Got season 1. 4 was masterpiece. Doctor Who. I staunchly believe the show is terrible, but it has an insane following. If we look at all of the traditional things which go into telling a story, none of them are present here. It isn't told in any kind of order. This week's episode could involve meeting Churchill during WW2. Next week could be ancient Egypt. Then the episode after could be Warhammer 40k. Then off to the Brexit vote. None of these episodes will have any coherent plot or explanation. The main characters may even change. Yes, it is a planned and regular thing that the main cast changes and everyone just goes with it. Oh, the Doctor was reborn, cool. So, who is constant? R2D2 with a plunger stuck to him is the main villain in the 4. Screwdriver, that is the all-powerful plot glue. To keep with mocking/comparing it to Star Wars. Even the fan base knows that it isn't good, but are in denial. Watch episodes 4, 5, 6. then this side story, then 1, 2, 3 and skip the Christmas event and the new trilogy. But it isn't even that, it was released in this order, so it makes sense to watch them like that. Instead watch the X episode with Y Doctor, skip the next 3 episodes, then watch this one with Z Doctor along with the next 4 episodes. What? Edit, because I'm not going to respond to every person in denial who's claiming it is good and I don't get it or whatever. Since the X-Files seems to be the go to see this is good, you do realize that you are comparing a cult classic that follows a very basic woman is dumb sidekick trope which has a coherent plotline. It isn't very good, but it can be followed, basically a typical conspiracy theory to complete nonsense, right? You know, episodic fiction has been a thing in television for longer than serialized, right? It jumps about because it's an episodic time travel show. It's like saying Quantum Leap is bad because it jumps from event to event. It's not failing in the traditional storytelling methods. It's using the traditional methods on a per episode basis than on a per series basis.